Welcome everybody to Everything Horror Podcast. My name is Paul Dolsky, obviously, and joining us tonight on this all good All Hallows Eve of Halloween and Day of the Dead, which is for another 3 days or 2 days. I forget how it goes, but anyway, happy Halloween and Day of the Dead to you all. But today or tonight, depending on how you want to look at this, we are here to talk with Ken Artuz, who is back from the dead, sort of. Anyway, so he is here to talk our story about DecayMag and the struggles and what happened to DecayMag so that he kind of just, vanished with DecayMag. So without further ado, Ken, welcome back. It's been way too long, and I hope all is well. And tell us the story of DecayMag.
Thank you, Paul, and once again, congratulations on your family.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you sound like Elvis Presley when you say "thank you very much." But thanks for the introduction. And my name is Ken Artuz, and I had started DecayMag. I believe it was 8 years ago, or probably 7 years ago. And the reason why I started DecayMag was my passion for horror, not only horror film, but the horror genre in general. And it was just a spur of the moment. One day I got up, had the idea, said, let me start this platform. And I don't like to use the word blog because it is a field of reporting. Whenever you or anyone is covering the horror genre, there's an eloquency of writing and covering the genre. So I like to consider it as journalism. So I always strayed away from the word blog. But anyway, I started DecayMag, bought the domain name, created the website in like 2 days, the graphics in a day, and just went right with it. Just kept writing, and I learned as I went along the pros and cons, what to do, how to compose an article, how to create a podcast. And with the podcasting, I invested money, because when I first started the podcast with Stacy Cox at the time, I was just running it out of a laptop and a microphone connected to the laptop. Now I have like a whole elaborate system to conduct my podcast. Fast forward, everything was successful. Had a lot of contacts, made a lot of friends. And what had happened was I took a pause because life, that's the big word, life. I had the 9 to 5, and I really detested the 9 to 5. It was coming to that point that I was saying, okay, at this point in my life, do I really want this 9 to 5? Do I want to retire and have like no money in the bank? Because remember, once you get your 401k, you get taxed the shit out of your 401k. Then you got to pay off your mortgage or whatever have you. You have very little money. So I decided to just go and pursue a career in physical training, which I did. And that was the whole point of why I had put a pause on DecayMag. Life. So far, it has been great with the physical training career. Of course, then COVID happened, but now I'm back at it. Now, the question is, will I return to DecayMag? I'm unsure yet. And Paul, I think you could agree with me here. If there was a way that income could be coming in with what we apply our passion to, that would be great, because at least it could pay off the hosting, it could pay off the podcasting platform. All of those things cost money. And if someone does not have a job, that proves to be difficult.
I completely agree. Not to cut you off, but yes, I agree. Without money, we can't do what we want to do.
Exactly. And of course, we have Patreon, and we can ask them for donations. The way I see it, yeah, these filmmakers need exposure, and but so do the journalists that are covering their films or whatever their projects may be. $1, $2, $5 does help. It sounds like a drop in a bucket, but it does help. The bigger platforms, which I should not name, but you know who I'm referring to, Paul. They get revenue, big time revenue from their advertising. And that's one thing I did not like for DecayMag, to have those advertising, but being bombarded with truck advertising. I don't want to see a truck advertising. I want to see horror content. And there was this other website that you would have two sentences of the article, then this huge ad, then another two sentences, and another huge ad. Come on, that's not providing value for the customer. So that's why I did not have ads on my platform.
Yeah, I tried looking into like the whole, getting paid with ads thing, and to be honest, that sucks. Like
It does,
you get paid like you're basically like out on the street asking for change, basically. Like
basically.
it's really sad, and like you just said, like the ads can just ruin a website and within just one click, really, and you just get like 20
Right.
million ads, and the next thing you know, um, the website is like, oh, this website is flagged as spam or something. We need to take you out of
Exactly.
it, and then you're like, well, shit. Now I can't even read the article because of all this bombarding of the ads.
Right. Exactly. But on the flip side, it's always, if you have a passion for what you do, in this case horror genre, yeah, go right ahead and do it. Like keep at it. One, two, three, go at it. That was my passion. I kept tossing articles, podcasts every single day, churning it out. That's how I established contacts, and people were, instead of me hunting down things to write about, people were flooding my inbox. That's the good thing there. But as I had mentioned, once life takes over, he said, okay, well, this is a great hobby. I love it. This is my passion. But at the same time, it's I have to find a way to pay either A, the rent, or I don't have enough money to keep this hobby afloat. That's where you have to decide.
Yes, especially now with me being a father, it's like, well, I like doing the podcast and all, but when I look at the expenses, it's like $100 for the web host, $100 for the podcast host. It's like, that adds up real quick.
Exactly, exactly. So we're discussing here, though, it's not to be a negative Nancy, but yeah, we always have to weigh the pros and the cons. Is it a hobby that we want to pour our passion into, or is it a hobby that we could say, okay, let me shelf this for a while, take care of things that are important, and then I could get back to it if and when uh, life permits.
Exactly. And some of the time, and I don't know, Ken, with you, especially you starting your own fitness company and stuff, but what let me ask you like a really interesting question is after you just for the reference I say for asking this particular question is like, so when you kind of disbanded DK, I mean, I know it's still up in the air, but what to say for now? Um, so when you disbanded DK, right now you got the fact of you don't have to worry about reviews, writing for people, a podcast. You don't have to worry about interviews. Now, did you kind of almost feel like you had weight off your shoulders? And even though your main focus now is becoming to get your new company off the ground, but I mean, did you ever feel like you had that weight on the shoulders lifted once you kind of put a pause on DecayMag?
Well, to be honest, I kind of miss it. I miss it tremendously. because I miss watching these films, the indie films. I miss talking to the indie because you learn so much when you're podcasting and you hear their journey. That's so inspiring. Uh, that part I miss, but everything that I applied to DK, believe it or not, which I've been doing ever since the start of September when the gyms reopened, which I kind of procrastinated, was to everything I learned with podcasting and writing articles. I'm now applying it to my fitness career, because if you don't utilize social media, if you don't do podcasting, if you don't do the written word for your personal business, you might as well be invisible. So with that said, that's something that I'm taking over and doing it, podcasting for fitness, writing articles right now, which I got to launch soon. And but yeah, that DK is deep in my heart, and soon, and soon I don't know when, but yeah, it's one of those things that when I hit it, it's gonna get hit, and I'm gonna focus on it 110% again.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, Ken, is there anything else that you kind of want to share too about your journey or the struggles with the like? Is there any other struggles that you had as well, or do you think you sort of covered it all? Because I mean, we could almost probably talk 2 hours of everything of pointing down to the whole like, because you tried to do like a digital magazine. It seemed like that didn't really do too well, and then I almost feel like that's how it led to you almost rethinking of the pausing of DecayMag and stuff like that. But like, I don't know. Do you feel like there's anything else that you um think we should know about, or now that you've had the chance to rethink of what you could even have done better, is there anything that you can think of that could help shed some sort of light to the fact of like, I wish back when I was doing this is how I could have solved this issue better, or, just kind of like, is there anything more to it?
To be honest, no. Well, everything. If I would have started it again, I would have done the same mistakes, and I would have done the same progress. Because starting, like I had mentioned, I started DecayMag. It was just boom, writing the articles, how to format it, because you have to format articles a certain way so that way Google could recognize it and it could just go up in the search engines. It has to be formatted specifically a certain different way. That I had, I was as I was writing, I was reading, researching, doing everything, and then the team started to grow. First, Stacy, I met Stacy Cox and David Teixeira, which and that's the other beautiful thing too. When DecayMag, when I stop, I see everybody progressing. Stacy's doing her writing, uh, which I see her Instagram, and I'm like, wow, I'm so happy for her. She's progressed so much. David, of course, when he was writing with us, he was starting his filmmaking career, and wow, he has like what 4, 5, 6 films already under his belt. That's amazing, and that to me is more of an accomplishment, seeing that I have worked with them and seeing how they branched out and doing their own thing and they're succeeding. That's a sense of accomplishment there, and I feel so happy and proud of them. If I were to start again, like I said, I'll do the same mistakes again and the same errors. The digital magazine, yeah, I started that out, and mind you, I have no knowledge of creating a magazine. Once again, I just jumped right into it, got the software to create a magazine, published a digital magazine. Yes, it didn't do it so well, but hey, you learn from it. What didn't happen? What worked? What didn't work? But at that point, that was before I was going to release the second issue, which I was already working on. That was the point that my 9 to 5 was becoming more frustrating. And it was a point that, okay, something's got to change. And when you find that your 9 to 5 is stressful and it's causing that headache, and you come home and you bring that headache home, that's you have to disconnect from it. And that's the way to solve the problem. Just disconnect and start a career. And there's a big difference between a job and a career. A 9 to 5 is a job that pays your bills, but a career, you have a title and you could take that title anywhere you go. And believe me, I studied hard, got my physical training certification, and I could apply for that anywhere. Uh, I miss DecayMag a lot, especially the conventions. Those were so fun.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like in our situation. We were a small person, and then we met by that group there, and then we started networking together. Which, still to this day, that you're still the only other podcast that we actually really networked with, and
Right.
it's quite sad in a way, because it's like, well, it's like, what am I doing wrong so that, like, this person that just started around the same time we did, it has more listeners than we do? Is it because, like, is it because I'm stupid, like, with episodes or something, or like, am I not funny enough, type of thing, or is it because I'm too, I try to find the truth in it, because I know it's really hard to hear, and it kind of gets boring hearing the same thing over and over and over again. But it's that's just the way podcasting is. Unfortunately, sometimes
Right.
people just want to hear the same stuff over and over again. It's kind of like that bad movie. It's bad, but you still watch it anyway, because it's like, yeah, it's like my guilty pleasure. It's like,
Right. Right, exactly. And to touch base on what you said, if a podcaster has more listeners and you don't, the numbers don't matter. They could have as many listeners as they want. Some people, they get deterred, and you have made a great point. Is it you? Is it your content? Is it the microphone? Is it whatever? Just keep doing it, doing it, doing it. Keep going, 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 because once you have that self doubt, then everything else just falls down. No, you got to keep going at it. That's the beauty of it. It's not a marathon. It's the journey. That's what counts. The journey, not the marathon. You could be the sprint runner and you could get tired and you could bomb and crash. But if you be the turtle, boom, you make it to the end and you will gain your listeners. Uh, that goes across the board. If it's a hard content, if it's Pokemon or card collecting, whatever it is that people like and that are listening, hey, people love this stuff. And even though I'm not following podcasting or I'm not doing podcasting the way I used to, I am following it because of COVID. Podcasting has evolved. Before it was audio, now it's visual. Now you have Google Hangouts, you have Zoom. Now Facebook integrated with WhatsApp and also Instagram to conduct these interviews as well. So the platform has expanded. There's more avenues to provide content. Remember, you do your podcast visually, you chop it up, you have audio, you chop it up, you have written word. So that's the roadmap right there. It has become more technical, more time consuming, but if if you want more followers or readers or what have you, that's the way to go.
that is true. That's true, and I did start to notice, like, the visual interviews and stuff. Like, I remember a couple of interviews I had in the past, recently, sort of. They actually asked me if it was like a video thing or if it was just
Right,
audio. So,
right.
so now it's like, well, shit. So, do I need to, like, now do I need to be like, hey, do you want to do a video or audio or written interview?
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
and next thing,
Yeah.
and then it makes me wonder what the next what the next thing is gonna become of podcasting.
Right. Well, for now, since COVID, it's a blessing in disguise. Everybody's doing everything online. The conventions are online. The film festivals, I still get emails. The film festivals are not in person. They're online. Some of them are actually free. So that is an avenue for advertising right there. Oh, what? You have a free table? Sure, I'll apply. And you could get the name of the company out, Everything Horror Podcast. You have a little virtual table. People come to you virtually through a Zoom or whatever platform that they have set up. And hey, that's great. That's great. And the thing is now is like I had mentioned, yeah, you would need more time to chop up that content, but it's going to pay off in the long run. That is, of course, if you have time,
And
because
unfortunately, yeah, wife, as you were just saying earlier, wife, keyword, wife.
exactly, that's the word. That's the word. That is definitely the key word.
Yeah. So I guess and I don't want to, keep beating you with a dead horse of having to repeat yourself too, but like, if you were to come back too, would you also be thinking of like visual podcasting or just audio or a little bit of both? Have you been like actually kind of thinking of how you would really come back with DK at all?
Oh yeah, 100%. It would be visual. It would be visual and chopping up the audio, chopping up the video, putting it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget TikTok. You have to put stuff on TikTok as well. Yeah, I've been following the social media and everything that's coming on. Even though I'm sitting on the sidelines. Yeah, it will be 100% visual, audio, written word. Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I just wish our apartment was a little bit more bigger, and then maybe I could like set up a green screen or something, or not even a green screen. But you can have so much fun with green screen, so that's why I'm throwing it out there. But yeah, I just
Right,
wish
right.
our place was a little bit more bigger, and then maybe when the time comes when we do find a bigger place, maybe then I'll do a little bit more visuals and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right. Well, hey, Paul, I know I've seen your house. Your house is a museum for horror. People love that type of stuff in the background. That's a conversational piece right there. And you could actually use that as a backdrop. And hey, look, this is a new thing that I just got, and you put it on your shelf. Hey, people love that. I've noticed that people prefer more down to earth type of production than anything that's elaborate. People are really eating that stuff up because people want to see a company or a person or a platform that they can relate to.
That's true. Well, right now they'd probably not like what they would see because we're trying to like condense like our place because of the fact that we are trying to look for a bigger place. So we have been trying to pack stuff. So right behind
Right.
me is nothing but toady bags, toady boxes, and like all sorts of baby stuff. So it's just like, yeah. I don't know if they would want to see that, but I do agree with you, Ken, that the horror stuff would definitely be a great backdrop.
Definitely. Yeah. Hey, I converted my room, the office that I use right now is like a storage because since I had to move everything out from the living room, I actually converted my living room into a gym.
There you
And I
go.
have all my stuff from the living room is inside the office. And every time I walk back there, I say, "Wow, I have the shelf with all my horror stuff, and my microphone is there collecting dust." I'm like, I gotta move some of this stuff out of here and try to rearrange, but one thing at a time. Um, Certain goals to meet. before the end of this year and next year first.
That's true. That's true. Well, Ken, I'll throw this out there, but if you do ever decide to come back, and if we're not doing this podcast anymore, type of thing, because as you know, we're considering of taking a break or stopping
Right.
permanently, and it's just because of kind of like what you said, life has come into play with us now. So
Right. Exactly.
and I became parents. Financial now is kind of like because COVID hit,
Exactly.
and our daughter was born in this shithole of a pandemic. So it's like, what do we do? And Tessa doesn't really want to, go back to work because, well, I don't blame her because one, we ain't trusting anybody to watch our newborn kid who's already 3 months old. And it's
Right.
like, what do we do? So she had decided she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and hopefully work at home so she can take care of
Exactly.
her daughter. Me, on the other
Right.
hand, well, I kind of had to go back to work because it's not like I can't just be like, oh, we're fine. So, no.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There was stuff. Things happen. Things happen. Life happens, and you would have sometimes you would have people that would say, "Hey, you guys had the podcast. Oh, you guys failed at that, and what all the negative talk." He's like, "No, you didn't fail. Failing is for someone who has an idea to start a podcast but never starts. What we're doing, we succeeded at what we did. Paul, you succeeded in your podcast. I succeeded in my podcast. It's just right now, take a little pause and say, okay, let's weigh the pros and the cons. And if everything works out, we could go back to it, probably change it around, whatever the case may be, if you decide to return to it. But for those listening, it's not. If you quit something, it's not failing. Failing is not doing it in the first place.
That's true. That's true. And, I do feel like I have succeeded because, and to be honest, I couldn't find the word when I first heard like a couple people put like a quote of mine on the back of their product and stuff, and it's just like when you finally reach that level. And Ken, I know you've had a few quotes from your guys that show up on a few things, but for somebody like me who like barely just got to that point of seeing like quotes show up on other people's stuff, it's like kind of like a really nice feeling because you hold that product and you see your quote and it's just like, wow, I finally did something right, or like wrote something that these people liked it so enough that they wanted to quote me. And it's like that's another way of getting out there, and that's why like I would hate to even stop now because it's like, well, if people would like to put my quote on their stuff and then I stop, it's like, well, doesn't that kind of hurt me in a way too? Because it's like, well, if I stop now, people can't find a review or something, and it gets to be a headache sometimes. But then again,
Right.
even if I do stop with just say hosting the podcast, at least all my episodes are still available on YouTube.
Right. Right. That is so true. And yeah, uh, having your name, your quote on a product, that's like those are little mini trophies, mini successes that you could say, hey, look what I have accomplished. And sure, you may keep paying for the podcasting, so that way the podcast will still be found in the search engine. You could still pay for your web hosting site to keep the website active. If that's not the case, then there's other platforms that are much cheaper just to keep your content alive, quote unquote, alive online. Just in case you do return, you have your everything there. Uh, One other thing that you could consider is, yeah, transfer everything over to YouTube if you don't have it on YouTube and keep it there temporarily.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I can just take the video and convert it to an audio file too, because that's just
Hmm.
how amazing technology has become too. So,
Exactly, exactly.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, and come to think of it, I have a few things here that it has either my name on. I know I have my name on a couple of CDs, DVDs, on a book. Stacy, I have her name on a couple of things, and of course IMDb, which we have like a lot of reviews um, under the press reviews for films, which is also great. And those are mini trophies. Those are successes, and you would come back to it definitely. Like
yeah,
I said, all it has to do with finances right there. At this point, since you have a new a newborn that you have to take care of, but yeah, you'll get back to it.
oh yeah, yeah. It's just gonna take some time, of course, and just like you've been gone for over a year now, and you're still thinking of coming back, and I mean, but and until that day comes, I wish you all the best, Ken, and you've done
Yes, thank
uh,
you.
and you've done some like great things with your new fitness company there, which is the Artuz Fitness, right?
Yes, correct. Yes, and that is slowly but surely growing. Right now, I've been just creating content, finding articles, creating a calendar for social media to really tackle this. These are some of the things that, like I mentioned before, that I had learned from DecayMag, but I I went into it blindly. Right now, I have a battle plan and say, okay, this is what needs to be released on Instagram on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. Um, for my calculations, you have to release at least 20 pieces of content on across all these channels, which that in itself is an effort. That includes podcasting and writing. So
Mm.
that's one thing. If I would have learned back when I was doing DecayMag to really plot the whole month, that would have made life easier. But of course, you have people coming in, hey, can you interview me and this and that and this and that. It that was wow. It was hectic, but it was a fun hectic. That I admit. It wasn't a hectic like your 9 to 5 that your supervisors are breathing down your neck. No, doing that was like so fulfilling. That you finish that piece of written content and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to go to work the next day. Like, but at least I wrote this article.
No, I hear ya. I hear ya. And yeah, I mean, someday, hopefully, I can just say, I don't have to worry about the 6 to 2 o'clock or the 8 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 5, whatever. But I mean, when that day comes, maybe it'll be the end of the world. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Kind of like I used to joke a long time ago with my friend, which kind of makes me wonder though, and that is people used to say, if you'd become a real good dad. I'm like, if I become a dad, it'll be the end of the world. Well, it's 2020, there's a pandemic, and I'm a dad, so shit. Did that count as the end of the world?
but
So
wait, we still have that near Earth asteroid that everybody's talking about. It's gonna hit the day after the elections or before the election. So wait, wait for it.
yeah, just wait. Oh boy. Uh well, Ken, I mean, I don't want to keep you anymore, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I do hope that we get to see you come back, and everything else, and maybe what we can do can too until DecayMag comes back. If you want to do episodes with me, even just to give you something to do, give me something to do. Yeah, we can plan something like that, and we can kind of do like what we used to do, just do the bullshit, talk bullshit, and do some roundtables maybe with whoever's available, and have a good old time.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think much has changed. Oh, one other thing. Wait. Yes, a couple of things have changed.
Oh,
Aside from the movies, aside from horror films getting remakes, that never changed, and it bugs me out every time I see another remake being. The I just got Amazon Prime up and running, and I see they did the Witchcraft or the Witch, one of those movies with the
the
four girls
craft.
that they were, The Craft. Yeah, they made a remake. I'm like, come on, really? You guys don't learn. Come on, we don't want remakes. We want new, fresh ideas. But
It gets
anyway,
worse.
one thing, oh, forget it. One thing that's really hurting the horror genre is the censorship on social
God.
media. Dan was really advocating for that, and it was falling on deaf ears on Instagram and Twitter. I know the Soska sisters got impacted by it when they were trying to campaign for their movie that just got a recent release. Hey, come on! But yet Facebook has all these atrocious posts of violence and white supremacy stuff, and it's still on, but yet you're attacking creatives. That doesn't make sense.
Oh no, no. Oh, I got one better for you, Ken. So recently on Facebook, for this guy who does horror stuff. Um, so listen to this BS. All his pages and his personal Facebook page got randomly taken down one day,
Uh huh. No surprise.
and for no reason. And luckily, though, and here's the weird thing. So if you have other people on your page or whatever, and your, I guess, personal account get, we'll just say, deleted or whatever, I guess Facebook will reach out to somebody else to take over your page. So he got me thinking too, like so if I were to delete my personal account for the podcast, let's just say, you're telling me that Facebook will try to reach out to somebody else to take over my page.
That
I don't
doesn't
know,
make sense.
and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like I try to tell people too, if you're gonna have somebody else on your Facebook page or pages, make sure it's somebody that you trust, so that way if something does go down, they can at least re-add you so you don't lose everything. But in this
Right.
case, though, if you lose your personal profile, how do you save all your stuff?
Right. That's weird. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Oh yeah. And speaking of remakes, Ken, and I don't know if you heard the news today, but apparently Jordan Peele is gonna be supposedly remaking The People Under the Stairs.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I heard that. Hey,
So
he has really branched out from comedy into horror extremely well. He brought back the Twilight Zone. His films is good. He's doing Candyman, I believe,
yep.
the remake. Yeah, so okay, all power to him. But I know where your stance and my stance are on remakes. We definitely don't appreciate it. But the real problem was the censorship that really happened, and even the hashtags for horror on Instagram got deleted, or if you have it, it's flagged. Oh, come on, it's nonsense.
Yeah,
Everybody's getting too hypersensitivity to the art.
exactly. And I do remember, I think we all talked about that too, of how, like, well, what are we supposed to use then now for like a hashtag? Because horror, the hashtag horror is like one of the most easiest and popular ones there is. So it's like, well, shit.
Yep,
What
exactly,
what do we use now? And I know Dan, and since
exactly.
you mentioned Dan, you talked to we talked to him, and he started that. He tried, and like you said, it fall under deaf ears. Is that horror is healthy thing? And I mean,
Right, right, right,
and I still 100% back that up. And
right.
to be honest, Ken, I was thinking if you do ever decide to come back, and maybe we could like try to get some other people, but maybe what we should just all do is we should all get together as, friends who we network with, and maybe we can all talk amongst ourselves to see what we can do to maybe just create our own little platform podcast thing, and then there we go. Then we
Of
really
course,
won't have to have to worry too much about financial, because if we all pitch in because it's something we love to do, then I
right.
think we'll be okay.
Of course, yeah. That's a great idea to everybody pull their resources together because uh, it's not there is so much abundance, and I know when I was running DecayMag, I came across people who they seem so competitive and they'll try to put the other person down. But why? If everybody's doing the same thing, there's so much abundance. There's plenty of audiences for everybody to have. Putting our resources together, that's a great idea, Paul. And also for this censorship that's still going on social media, I thought those would be like obstacles. Right? If you're running a podcast or you're doing the written word and that's an obstacle, hey, work around it. Adapt. We find a different way. Can't post pictures of a zombie face? Okay, I'll put something else. Something funny, something that catches people's attention. Change the heading, change the hashtag. There's always work around it, or ways to work around the hurdles. Um, but the most important thing that you cannot work around with is that magic word called life.
Ain't that the truth? Maybe that should just be
Ex-
another hashtag we use, wife.
yes, exactly.
uh,
But yeah, that's a great idea. So pulling everybody's resources together, bringing the gang back. It's like in a way the Scooby Doo mystery team gets separated, and everybody goes their own separate ways. And hey, let's bring the gang back together again.
I think we should really consider thinking about that, because we all had fun together. We all know we can work together well, and I mean, if we need to not have to worry about life and our mental health as well, our mentality when it comes to trying to do reviews or interviews, and when it gets too much on us, we kind of tend to need a break. So it's like if we get a good
Right.
enough team together and we separate, and maybe one person posts one, what to say, for the saying here is like, what to say, we're all together, right? You, me, Dan, Tessa, Stacy were to say. If all of us just posted maybe a couple articles each day, or at least once a week, I think we would still be okay. Because
Of course.
it's not like we have to kill ourselves to get the content made, but it's also the fact of like, because there's no way in hell like just two people can put out all the news in one day of what's going on in the horror. It's just that would just be psychotic because there's just
Yeah,
way too much
yeah,
going on. But
of course. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, Ken, I did throw that idea out there, and maybe we can all talk with the Scooby Doo gang, as you called it, and maybe we can all work it out, and maybe we can all just figure out a clever name or something, and just rebrand everything, really. So
exactly. Yeah, that's good. And since you mentioned it, it's engraved in stone right here, and this recording forever embedded for everyone's ears to hear. Yeah, that's a great idea. We should work on that for 2021.
exactly. And then, and the way I also look at it, Ken, is if you want to post an episode on Monday, okay, well, then maybe I have an episode to post on Tuesday. And then next thing you
Right,
know, we got way too much content going out. You know what I mean?
right. And that
Nobody
hey,
will.
that's exactly that's what counts is the content.
Exactly. And you taught me that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just right content. I always used to use the phrase "I gotta feed the monster." If you don't feed the
Feed the
monster's gotta
monster.
get hungry, and the monster's the platform. You gotta feed it articles, gotta feed it every day. Toss it out, toss. So for me, the easiest articles were the trailers. Like give you feedback on a trailer. That's just a quick article, 300 words, boom, easy, 1 to 3. The the ones that were more time consuming would be the film reviews.
Yes. Or in my case, it's like video games and sometimes books, depending on how
Right,
easy it is. So yeah,
right. Yep. But you're right. Yeah, just gotta churn out the content. Everything else will follow. And that goes.
and
I keep mentioning it. That goes for any topic because right now there's so much interest out there. Uh, you could just make a podcast on whatever action figures. There's a community of people who love action figures.
yes, yes, and they talk about a specific action figure each episode too.
Yes, exactly. And also another alternative. See, I'm always thinking here of alternatives. If the financials is hitting uh, you, for example, you let's say you can't pay for your podcasting platform because it's too expensive. They have Anchor. Anchor is a free platform. The pros and the cons with Anchor is, sure, your content will go on Spotify and Apple and the other major platforms, but it'll be under Anchor. But at least you still be making content and you don't have to pay for a platform. It's absolutely free. You can record it from your phone, or if you want to go high tech, you can record from your PC and upload it. That's another platform right there.
Hmm. Well, maybe we can just one day can meet up again and we can talk platforms of how to keep your podcast running.
How to how to how to stay alive. That's
Yeah.
the
How to not lose your mind in 5 easy steps.
they exactly because of the magic word called life.
Life is fucking evil. There, that's what it's abbreviated as.
There you go. There you
Or
go.
women is fucking evil or something. I don't know. That's what I used to say.
Uh
Hey, God. Anyway, Ken, I don't want to bore you anymore. I don't want to bore the listeners too, but I just figured.
huh.
I figured, it's been a while. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the DecayMag thing, and I think a lot of listeners would be appreciative to hear your man voice again, as I may say. So, and
Hey,
you know,
yeah. I'm strongly considering it. I remember I put a post up on Instagram saying, "Hey, we're coming back," and I was like, "Hey, wait, that's so fast. Still got things to accomplish first." But yeah, it's definitely there. I still see the emails popping in the inbox, and my inbox is flooded again. Yeah, come on, stop tempting me. But like I said,
Stop tempting me.
once it's there, it's there.
Ain't that the truth, man? But all right, well, any last words, Ken, before we wrap this up?
um, no, just all the best, Paul. I know you want to take a break for a while, and that's definitely understandable. We all need our breaks, and the like I had mentioned before, is not quitting, it's not giving up, it's not failing. It's just a temporary pause. Yeah, uh, get the creative engines working again, and when you're ready to come back, yeah, that would be the case. Brainstorm some good ideas and just sit on the sidelines and watch. That's the good thing. You pick up these articles and see what's going on. As I mentioned, video is making a comeback for podcasting. That's a new platform right there. Just see what's out there. Even if you're not covering horror, you see what's going on in the horror genre. And then when you come back, boom, you come back with a vengeance. Or we come back with a vengeance. There you go.
Here we go. We'll be like the Four Horsemen.
Exactly.
Well, maybe not that brutal, but I figured it'd be like some type of striking fear into though that yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Trying
there
to
you
make
go.
a we're trying to make a name for ourselves. That's what we're trying to do. God damn it.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Ken. Well, before you go too, so if anybody wants to check out your fitness company, how can people check out your fitness company?
Well, right now it's Artuz Fitness on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, all under the same banner. I also have the website. The website is up and running. Articles soon to come. That's what I'm working on right now. As I said, content is what drives your business forward. Without that, you might as well be invisible. So it's ARTUZ Fitness, artuzfitness.com, and same name throughout all the platforms, including TikTok, by the way. Can't forget TikTok.
I thought TikTok got banned. Hey,
No, TikTok. Yeah, I thought so too. That's why I had stopped making these funny videos for TikTok. No, they're still up and running.
huh? Weird.
Yes, and that is so cool to use. You get your little 30-second clip. You could either follow the trends or you could create your own content. There's a hidden way to gain your. But the approach for TikTok, mind you, you could garner uh, over 100,000 views with just using the right hashtags, following the trends, and that explodes and puts eyes on you like 100%, as opposed to Instagram that you get 24 views, 26 views, 100,000. Wow, that's a lot of views. And that could really boost up whatever business that you're in.
Well, interesting. So, on that note, Ken, once again, thank you so much, and hopefully, people will reach out to you for the fitness outlook. I mean, maybe one day my fat ass will contact you too, but till then, I need to like focus on like getting a bigger, better place, and then maybe, hopefully, when this COVID shit dies down, I can actually go back out and like work out as intensely as I used to. So,
Right, right. Yeah. Hey, that's what, like I mentioned, Zoom classes or Google Hangout classes. That's the new trend now for fitness as well. You go one on one, training with they have group classes, but there's not so much you could pay attention to see if the person doing the right form. One on one, video chat. That's the best way. You have a little space. You make get some resistance bands, and yeah, shed the pounds or gain the pounds, because some people want to gain weight, some people want to gain muscle.
yep. and I used to be a muscle machine. No, I'm joking, but I used to be pretty wind thin though, more than I am right now. But yeah, that's a whole new different story. I think the COVID and my health shit too, so that doesn't help. But yeah. Anyway, Ken, once again, thank you so much. And if there's ever anything, Ken, you want to talk about with us, well, with me or whatever, feel free to reach out and we can, plan stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to shoot the shit with you guys. Yeah, we got to catch up. Get
Hell,
everybody together on the Instagram group and say, hey, what's up? And support each other. That's it. If, like I know Stacy's doing her thing. Hey, you need help? Boom. What can I do you for? Yeah. Boom. 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 Promote. Yeah. Put you on our page. Blah blah blah. It's all about like the magic word that you have brought up many times throughout this podcast, Paul, is networking, and that's another trophy too. Yeah, we got our names on DVDs and books and video games, but I think the best prize is everybody reaching out and connecting because it's such a small community of podcasters and writers and journalists that everybody, it's just a handful of us. It's like, well, to be about seven, 8 of us. But hey, that's great because that's a strong circle right there.
exactly. And if we can all pitch in to create something that we love to do and help each other, dude, we would be almost, in a way, unstoppable. So,
There you go. There you
because at least
go.
then, yeah, because at least then we can all have fun. We all know each other from networking, and I mean, we can almost do like what we used to do a long time ago with you and I and everybody else. One weekend we record something with you, the next weekend you're with us. So it's like it would be
Yeah,
fun, and I think the content would be more interesting, but it would also have to be more of like, well, let's make content and put it in the bank, and then when we feel like we have enough, we'll start posting it out there while we create more, kind of thing.
exactly. Yes, yes. More planning, better planning. There you go.
Yeah, basically, yes, yes. I think the beer is finally kicking in me, so like my thinking is starting to be like, hmm. So anyway, Ken, once again, thank you so much for taking your time to talk with me and DecayMag and stuff. And yes, we will put that on the table of trying to reach out, see who would be interested in possibly teaming up together and financially helping to create something that we can all enjoy and love. And on that note,
Absolutely.
listeners, if you're still here, thank you so much for listening to me and Ken ramble on, and hopefully you like hearing Ken's lovely voice again because it has been a while, and you know, maybe we can see Ken more, and maybe next time you hear about us, maybe we're all trying to create our own thing together, and we're gonna punch you in the face with content. So until next
Exactly.
time, I'm Podolsky, and like we always say every single time, we want you to stay scary. Good night, everybody.
Hey, good night.